Welcome to a brand new episode of The Founder with your host Tasha Sejal. Today with me I got Shireen Akberally, who is from the escape rooms. How are you doing, Shireen?
Good, thank you. How are you today?
Good, good. I'm super excited about this, and it's been a long time coming. And how has it been so far?
It's been good. So we just celebrated our second anniversary in September, which is exciting. I didn't think, back when we started that it would get to this point, but it has, and it's so exciting. I love people doing it.
So tell me about how you got the inspiration to start this up. I know that there are quite a lot of escape rooms globally as well, right?
Yes. So escape rooms initially started out of a game show in Japan, I think, and then they spread towards Europe, and then they gained popularity through there, and then spread all over the world. Mostly in America and Australia. And then when I was studying in Australia, that's when I had my first experience with them. And it was just so much fun, and it was such a different and unique experience, nothing like I'd ever done before. And yeah, I just fell in love with them. Every birthday I would spend doing an escape room.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, so
how many escape rooms have you done?
now it's probably been like 20?
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're really, really fun. And now I can expense it to the company as research and development.
And speaking of which, how was it, starting up the escape room over here in Sri Lanka? Was it difficult at all?
Not so much difficult, but a little bit scary, I would say. I think that comes with any new concept. The reaction of the people was what I was worried about. I didn't know how they were going to take it. I didn't know if it was going to do well here. I didn't know if I was just this weird person who liked doing this sort of thing, and if there were more people like me. But when I moved back after university, I realized that there was a lack of things to do around Colombo. So it was very much like, oh, we could go here and eat, we could go out and do this.
Yeah, it's mainly eating.
Yes, yeah.
Our Sri Lanka's just...
Yeah, there were so many places to eat everywhere, and I was like, wow, that's cool, but like, can we do something fun?
Fun, yeah.
And there was bowling at Excel World was the suggestion I was given. And I was like, anything else? And there wasn't much. I was like, okay, you know what? I liked this. Let's give it a shot. I'll try it out. And then that's where we started.
Awesome. Yeah. Where are you guys based? I've seen it in...
so it's on Timbrigasai
In Timbrigasai,
yeah. So
yes.
it's above Cafe Noir Blanc.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So there's so many questions, leading up to this, because it's so exciting. Is every room the same? Like, how does it work?
So we have 3 game rooms currently.
Okay.
One is called Detective's Office, one is called Sabotage, and one is called Vacancy.
Okay.
Each one has its own story and its own little plot line, and its own level of difficulty.
Oh, wow.
So if you're starting out, if it's your first time, I would suggest you start out with Detective's Office, because it's a little bit easier than the other two in terms of challenge of the puzzles. And it kind of like gets you to start thinking that little bit outside of the box, and then you take it step by step from there, and then hopefully you come and play all 3.
Awesome. So are you the game master?
No, I have employees that are the game master. But yeah, it's actually really fun being a game master, because you get to watch and see how the team interacts with each other, how they communicate, how they do really silly things together, and who kind of takes on certain roles. We actually do corporate trainings, because it's a really fun and interesting way to see different sides of people's personalities. You can kind of tell who's really taking on like the leader role, who's taking out the slightly less submissive roles, and
who panics.
Yeah, that's actually one of the factors
Really?
we test on. We see like as the time gets less and less and less, and then you see who stops thinking and who just starts getting, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this.
I might be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So what is the time limit like?
So you get 1 hour for the game. We say to keep about 1.5 hours for the activity as a whole, because there is a bit of a brief at the start and a little bit of a debrief at the end. I mean, less than an hour if you get out before then, but for the most part we do say it takes an hour and a half. You get 1 hour inside the room to go and explore and try and figure it out. But yeah,
that's pretty cool. This is such a fun thing as well, and it's amazing that you brought up a concept like this in Sri Lanka. Now that more people can actually go and enjoy. Yeah. So tell me about how it initially started, like how you got the rooms and like the basis. How did it all put together?
Yeah. So I was a little bit nervous about this, especially because I'd never ventured into my own business before. It was first time for me.
Okay.
I contacted a bunch of people. I was initially contemplating designing my own room, but then I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I want it to work, especially for if it's going to be, the first time, it's going to be running around here. So I contacted an international supplier.
Oh, wow.
People
okay.
that actually sell game and concepts of the rooms.
Okay.
Which is really nice because then they give you something and it's tested, so you know that it actually works. And my first theme was called Most Wanted, Dead or Alive.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was set in the Wild West.
The Wild Wild West?
Yes,
okay.
that's exactly what it was. And you were in an old town kind of saloon, and you were trying to figure out, someone had stolen the sheriff's gun and you had to try and find it. And it was just an adventure. So.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously getting things ready, was it difficult at all in terms of, getting the community to, make sure that they know about something like this that actually exists?
Yeah, that as well as I think the biggest hurdle that we faced when we started was trying to source all the equipment. So my first two rooms, like I said, were the Most Wanted, Dead or Alive, and we had a shipwreck room.
Okay.
And to get the props that we wanted, I mean, I did search through PETA and stuff like that, and we found a bunch of things.
Okay.
But for the most part, we were trying to source very authentic looking props because it's not a video game, right?
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
It's
you,
real life.
Yeah, it's not you looking on a screen and you can put in little features, but it wasn't like that. So we wanted it to be authentic and have a real feel, like something you would find in a shipwreck or something that you would find, back in the Wild West. And so sourcing our props and all of that, and then finally when we did that, it was just super exciting to get there.
Awesome. So that would be your most challenging, or do you have a most challenging moment?
Yeah, I think that, and then most challenging, probably more towards our difficult decisions, was whether we wanted to open a second location or change over all of our game rooms.
Okay.
There comes a limitation with the number of times that people can play an escape room.
All right. Okay.
And we have a very strong fan base that likes to come as soon as our games are out and play our game rooms.
Okay.
And then they have to wait until I'm ready to open a new room to play the next one.
Right. Because they've already played those ones.
Because they've already played the ones that I've already done, yeah. So we were debating back and forth whether I should open a second location or whether I should just change over the current rooms, but I wasn't sure. So what I did was earlier on this year, we changed over all 3 rooms. And it's still something to this day that I debate, whether I should have opened, because I get calls to this day being like, hey, I want to play the pirate room. Hey, I want to play the Wild West room.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we'll open a second location soon, but for now it's just the one, and that's a tough decision, and it's always going to worry me a little.
That's fun. That's fun. So Shireen, obviously because of the escape rooms, I have to ask you this question. What's the craziest thing that you've done or experienced working at the escape rooms?
So there have been a lot of things. It's mostly funny when people do strange things.
Okay.
But I think one of the coolest things that we've done is we've planned some proposals inside the room.
No way.
Yeah. So, well, not inside the room. We led them out and then got them towards the gazebo at the cafe downstairs where the proposal was ready.
Oh.
But the whole thing was a surprise, and they'd follow a bunch of clues until they got to the proposal.
Oh, come on. That is the sweetest thing ever.
It was really cool. We've had 2 teams actually do this, and it was just such a unique experience, and it was so special and fun to have someone just be...
And were you there experiencing it all?
No, I wasn't there, but I planned the whole thing.
The whole thing.
And then I was like, it was just really... I got to see the recordings and the photos.
Okay, that's amazing.
The girl was just so stunned. She wasn't expecting it at all. Obviously, they go in playing an escape room. She doesn't expect to come out being engaged.
Engaged, right? Oh my gosh. So it would have been like a roller coaster of emotions, right?
Exactly, because you're so panicked, especially towards the last bit of the game, and then suddenly there's this extra clue, and then you're following it out, and then she's getting proposed to, and she was like, what is happening?
This is a part of the game, and
really
I have to ask you, have you ever pranked anyone?
No, sometimes. So I do test games before we open, and I usually have my friends come in and try out the games before to make sure they work. And sometimes we do a little sneaky things then, but nothing too serious, nothing too scary, and we won't do it if you're a real team.
All right, so obviously you've done some crazy things.
Yeah, it is a little fun.
So Shireen, was financing difficult for you initially?
Not really. We tried to keep it on a really strict budget. So we were like, we'll do 1 game room.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we'll add on and we'll continue. If it doesn't, we'll keep the space in sort of a neutral zone where we can use it for something else should it not work out. We had a bit of a backup option. When I lived in Australia, I worked a lot there, so I had a lot of savings kept up, and I used that to help, fund and finance.
Yeah, that's good. And at the same time, would there be anything else that you would be doing if it wasn't for the escape rooms here in Sri Lanka?
I don't know. There's a stationery chain called Officeworks.
Okay.
That I absolutely love, and I love stationery, whether it's post-its, highlighters, pens, pencils, anything, you name it, I love it. And there's this one shop that's just, it's like a warehouse of just all the stationery items you could ever dream of. So maybe I'd be doing something with
that. That's amazing. So I can imagine what your workspace is like.
Oh yeah.
Is it really neat and organized?
Neat and organized, but very much colorful. Everything is color coded because I love it. Oh, it's so fun. I feel like I have every highlighter available to mankind.
So speaking of workspaces, of course, this question is from our wonderful venue sponsor, the Colombo Cooperative, and they're all about providing creative spaces like this and workspaces for new startups and anyone who want to pretty much do their own thing in their own little space. And they would like to know what your first workspace was like.
I think with every startup, it kind of starts out in your room on a desk somewhere, and that was definitely what my experience was like as well. I had a little writing table in my room, and it just has all my files and all my little checkbooks and things, and now I've upgraded it to a bigger table, and it has more drawers that lock, but yeah, it's still the same as it was. It's that little table in your room that you've got.
Oh, that's really inspiring, actually. And of course, now that you're your own boss, was there anyone in particular that you looked up to, another founder perhaps, that you would like to maybe have dinner with one day, internationally or locally?
Well, it's not that I would like to have dinner with. I've definitely had dinner with my grandfather. He started his company from nothing, and he was obviously a huge inspiration to me growing up. And till to this day, any questions I have, you can always go and ask him, and he will always give you, his honest opinion. He's straight. He believes in certain things, which is honesty, integrity, and just being true to what you are doing and to what you give your customer, and I think that's always what he's taught me and instilled in me, and I would always go to him for advice and feedback with anything to do with a business or starting something, because he took something that was nothing and he made it into something, a substantial company today.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And of course, I gotta ask this question now. You do a lot of things in your day, and one of the things is, of course, the escape rooms. What really gets you up in the morning?
Mostly just breakfast. I'm always hungry. But like I said, I start my day off, I have breakfast, then it's get ready quickly, and it's go to work. You have meetings. I like to go check up on what's happening for the day. I like to know how things are going, and then sorting out. I do a lot of the stuff myself with in terms of my staff and in terms of financing and stuff. So I look at all the numbers, I look at all the staff problems for the day, and I handle that.
And what's your definition of success, Shireen?
For me, especially in terms of escape the room, I would say success is when I see someone enjoying our experience.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It was such a big part of my heart to bring, and I loved the experience so much. To see other people enjoying it as much as I did really makes me so happy, and I think that's when I'm successful. It's when I see people enjoying something that I put out and that an experience I was able to give them.
I know, and it was an original idea coming from you as well.
Yeah, I mean, granted from abroad.
Yes, of course. This is the only escape room here in Sri Lanka,
right now,
so
yeah,
you've done pretty well for yourself as well.
Thank you.
And it just goes on to show that all you you need is a thought.
Yeah.
And make it work. And there are so many people who are so discouraged, you know, they have this idea and then they have questions always, you know, what if this doesn't work out? I don't think it'll happen. You know, what's a piece of advice that you can give young startups today to do what you did?
So I think what you just said happens to absolutely everyone. You have the same doubts and situations, but I set a timeline. When we were opening at the same time the cafe was going to open.
Okay.
And they had a deadline as well.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I have to stick with this.
Oh, okay.
Whatever happens, I have to do. And it was 5 months, something like that.
Okay.
And every day I was just working really hard, just making sure everything was ready and that we were going to be there by that deadline. And I think that I had a lot of help. My family helped me so much with all of the steps and things in the middle. But getting to that, having a deadline, having a fixed date, things being there, I think that's the push.
The push.
Having, you know, this is it. This is when you have to be there. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to produce at this time. And you'll get it done. It's kind of like a last-minute assignment where you're like,
deadlines.
oh, I won't do it till like the night before, and then it's like the night before, and you're writing 1,000 words in like 1 minute.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
But so don't miss your deadlines.
Yeah, stick to your deadline, and I think you'll get there.
Awesome, and it's amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us. And well, I'm excited. I'm actually trying to come by sometime soon.
Definitely. We'd love to have you. Come try it out.
I hope I don't panic.
We'll let you know.
I'll probably bring my family with me.
Yeah, it's a fun activity. So you can do it as family. You can do it as friends. We have a lot of corporate groups coming in to do it as team building sessions, like I said. And I think you can do it any way you like, and it's always just a whole exciting, different way to see people that you've always seen.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And maybe looking forward to more rooms in the future?
Yes, definitely.
Hopefully. Yeah. Thank you so much, Shireen.
Thank you so much for
it's
having
been
us.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That is another wrap for yet another episode of The Founder with me, Tasha Sejal. I'll see you next time.